glad you're here. Well, today in the lab, I'm working on something pretty interesting. I don't know if you've ever taken a look at it. It's something you all have, but it's fingerprints. My big problem is I sort of forgot to label the fingerprints when I took different people earlier. So I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to know which one of these was mine? Fingerprints are a really interesting thing. If you look down at your fingers, it might just look kind of like flat skin. But do you know every time we touch something, oil comes off of our skin and it leaves a print or a mark on the things that we touch? I think I have an idea of how we might be able to figure out which one of these is mine. Let me show you. I'm going to need a pencil, some tape, and this piece of paper. Now, if I had an ink pad, I could just stick my finger on an ink pad and then press it on this paper. But this is kind of a nifty trick if you don't have one of those. You can take your pencil and you can color just so you have a nice big area of the gray that comes off from your pencil. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to roll it on the pencil. So now my finger is nice and gray. And then if you take a piece of tape and put it on your finger, nice and careful, and press on it, and then lift it up, my fingerprint is now on this piece of tape. So I'm going to put it on this piece of paper, and I should be able to compare and take a look and see which one matches. Now, it's an interesting thing in science when we're looking at fingerprints, because did you know no two fingerprints are the same? Of all the people in the world, not a single person has a fingerprint that matches anyone else. It's pretty incredible. There's also different ways that our fingerprints look. Some have arches, some have whorls, and some have different loops that kind of go in different ways. But all of our fingerprints are different. You know, sometimes maybe the place you've seen fingerprints is like at a police station. Did you know that's how they solve crimes sometimes? They have to look to see an object that maybe had a fingerprint on it, and they go through their scan to try and match to see if they can identify a person. It's a pretty cool way to find out if someone's done something wrong. Now, I've never done anything wrong where I had to use my fingerprints and get in trouble by a police officer, but I probably have done some things wrong. Can you think of something you've done wrong too? Was there a time when you maybe felt nervous to tell other people? Nobody saw you do the wrong thing, but you probably shouldn't have done it anyways, even though no one was looking. Well, do you want to know something really cool? God sees everything. This is an amazing thing about him. He sees us when we're sleeping, when we're awake. He knows everything, and he cares about us too. That's why he made us unique with all of our interesting fingerprints. But that also means that when we mess up or do that thing that we weren't supposed to do and other people don't see it, well, God sees it. But that's the other amazing thing about our God. Do you know he loves us so much that we can come to him and he offers forgiveness? Let's pull a reliable source, the Bible, and see what it has to say. Psalm 51 says this: "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love, according to your great compassion. Blot out my transgressions, which are sins. Wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my transgressions, and my sin is always before me. Against you and you only have I sinned, and done what is evil in your sight, so that you are proved right when you speak and justified when you judge." You know, when we sin, we're separated from God. We really deserve to be punished. But the beautiful thing is that when we say we're sorry to God and we confess our sins, because of what Jesus did for us on the cross, he forgives us. He loves us, and he says, you're completely forgiven. And yeah, you'll probably mess up again, but his love is so big that it's okay. We don't have to keep on sinning, but we can know that when we do mess up, even if no one else is looking, God will forgive us, especially when we say we're sorry, just like the psalmist did. It's pretty fun when you think about things like fingerprints. Not only do we have a God who made us unique, but he loves all of us just the same. And that forgiveness is for each and every person, even though we're different. There's nothing that separates us from the love of God because of what Jesus did for you and me. You know, you can at home with your family take fingerprints. Just like I did with the pencil and tape, you could try it together and see if you can notice the differences, maybe those arches and loops and swirls with your fingerprints in your family. See you later, friends.